The right tools for this are just critically important. The first one is a strong cup of coffee, because this is really hard work. We'll start with these. These screws are super soft and they will strip if you look at them wrong. The first thing I did was spray them with the rust penetrant spray and left them flat open, and there's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I let them sit for like an entire day with that stuff on them. And then the second thing I learned is you have to get the absolute right bit. You can't get a bit that kind of fits in there. It has to like perfectly fit in there, and you have to go like so slowly, super slowly and gently. And you don't have to undo all 4. I learned that the hard way, but you don't know which ones are gonna come out for you and which ones are just gonna stay seized. So I sprayed all 4. But if you do these 2 and these 2, you can pull this frame off this way, and then this frame will come off this way. And I'll get to the struggle with this later. Then once it's off, you have to pick off this little piece right down in here. And you can't pick it off this way. You have to push it all the way back so you can kind of like get it from both sides. It's like just a little piece of plastic, and you have to pull it off this way. You can't like do it this way or it'll break. And then underneath that plastic, there's this little tiny plastic black shank. It's about like this long, and it goes over the pin that's in here. And you have to take your fingernails and push it down, and like you find where the seam is. It's really hard to see, and you gently push it down, and it'll like pop off. And you got to be careful because it wants to roll off. And then you can pull this whole piece off. But one lens that came with the new gasket, the new lens, and the new hatch hardware. And then I bought 2 more just gaskets. And even if you're just replacing the gasket, you have to take the entire assembly off. Like it does, it's just, this is what holds the gasket on, so this has to come off. You have to do all of this nonsense right here to get it to come off. Thanks, Lewmar. Bad design for a piece that needs to be changed out at a reasonable schedule. Anyway, I took the old lens that was here, and I'm going to repurpose that in the front, and I'll show you that in a second. This hatch is from 2009. I think the hatch is 2008, but it's been on the boat since the boat was built in 2009. So everything in here was just, I don't know if corroded is the right word, just gummy. I used one of my favorite ones, which is the Corrosion XD, and I just sprayed it all through in here to get the pins and the locking mechanisms just moving really smoothly, so I could, because this has like an aluminum pin and it slides into this aluminum slot, and it just doesn't want to go in without help. I use that to get those in. And then the last thing you do is you put this thing on, and it's hard because there's so many angles that this is moving. You have to hold like the piece on in the back, and you can't just use like a screwdriver and push it in. These want to break also. What I did was I got a long screwdriver and my socket wrench, and I just held it on this side, and I was able to give it the tension from both sides so I could get that piece to go in. And how long did that take? It's really hard to find what hatch you have. You have to like peel it up and like look under here, and then a code that was on mine, I could not find it anywhere on Lewmar's website. It was really frustrating. I did a web search for it. I searched Google, nothing. I finally emailed Hatchmasters, and I said, I've got this hatch, it's this code, can you tell me what it is? And I'll show you what I'm going to do with the rest. But first, I need more coffee. And I don't usually drink coffee, I'm usually a tea drinker, but I need my whole brain to get this right. There were so many places on this hatch where it could have gone completely wrong, and I would have had to buy. This whole hatch is like $1,000. This lens replacement with the hinges, $200. The gasket, $50. If at any time I had screwed up any one of the other pieces, I don't understand why the lens in this piece is $200. But like you add in the frame and suddenly it's $1,000. But I did not want to BOAT it. And let's see if I can not BOAT it on my other two, because I want to go to the Bahamas. Here's my other hatch. And in this case, it's the gasket. The gaskets tend to split along here. The owner previous to me had put some silicone in, and that worked for a little while. And then for probably quite a few years. And then I went back in, I think it was 2021 or 2022. And I put some Sugru in, and that held for a couple more years. But as you can see, it's just not watertight anymore. And because it wasn't watertight, you can see I'm getting water ingress and mold. Mold will game over you for sailing pretty quick if you become allergic to it. I hit this all with bleach a couple days ago, and I did put the rust breaker from WD-40 in all of those. Hopefully I will be able to unscrew them and have it be successful. I forgot which screwdriver I used on here. I'm going to very carefully see. Too much wiggle room. Still a lot of wiggle room. One of these was a nice snug fit. Maybe. Ooh, definitely not. Maybe. No. What I'm going to try and do is just undo this side and see if I can pull it this way. So we'll have to see, because, oops, pulling it the other way, I've got this in front of me. It makes it hard to get to the screws down under here. Let's start with the path of least resistance. That does not feel good. There we go. Actually, I'm going to do the same thing I did yesterday, which is put these in a Ziploc bag. I'm going to take this out first so I can get better access to these. And I dropped my socket wrench overboard, my little one. I'm using my husband's socket wrench set, so I cannot drop it overboard. Nope. And now, when you do that, make sure you're holding this because there's nothing else holding it. There we go. I'm a little worried about that one. It looks like it's a little stripped, but I hope not. Alright, good, good, good. That means I don't have to undo this side because we can just slide right out. Then, maybe next. Alright, we're going to get closer for this one. These little flanges have to come up. And like I said before, they do not want to come up. So you just kind of got to go slowly and not lose your temper. Not that I ever do that. 1, 2. Here are these little pieces. And if you look closely, they don't go all the way around. There's a spot where it would be nice if Lewmar would make these in a different color so it's easier to see. But you just kind of push down with your fingernails, and I can tell you I have completely trashed my manicure doing this. But you gotta pop it off of the pin. And I'm trying to be gentle because plastic gets brittle after a while, and I don't want to have to do a new one. Still on. There we go. I've heard some absolute horror stories about people not being able to get their new gaskets on. Hopefully that will not be a problem. I have some ideas. In here is where, after I clean it out, in there is where the silicone is going to go to help the new gasket go on. And you can see it's just gross and yuck. I like using Rapid Tack. I think it does a good job. Does not leave a residue. Some boats get so dirty. And yes, did I do a terrible job with this? I did. Has it held up for 3 years? Yes. Am I going to fix it today? No. I don't want to get sidetracked. I have another one of these that I cut for the one that's going to be up in front because there's nothing on it, but don't let perfect be the enemy of good. Or good enough in my case. And this likes to fall off. I am prepared for this not to behave. One other thing I kind of screwed up was when you take the gasket off, remember what it looked like when you took it off, so you don't go crazy trying to get the new one on only to find out you did it upside down, which is stuff I have done often. There's a separator seam here that goes in the back because according to Lewmar, somewhere in here in the front there's like a little tiny pinhole that when you drop the hatch down, it squeezes out all the air in this direction. So that needs to be there. I have not been able to find the pinhole, but the way it was installed before was the seam was in the back. That's just how I'm going to do it. This little thin seam right here, I remember was up on the top there. This is my first whack at it. I make no assertion that I'm doing it the right way. Thinking about it. That feels right. Where the nightmare part comes in from what I've heard is that I see it's like not anywhere close to, like you're gonna have to like stretch it like a mofo to get it in there. I think, and I've also heard that people have split it trying to do this, which that sucks, but I will try not to do that. Some people have said that they put silicone in the gasket here too to get it to sort of stretch around it. I may do that. Wash my hands. I have a heat gun. Just like this better sometimes. Yeah, I think people were right. This part is gonna really suck. Good Lord, look at that thing. Do better, Lewmar. Oh my gosh, look at that. It's already splitting and I'm only doing like 3 sides. That's nerve-wracking. I'm pretty happy about that. Alright, thank goodness. I did screw up though. The seam is in the front here. And it's already starting to come apart a little bit, which is really concerning. Look, brand new, right out of the bag. I don't know whether it's because when you're going around a curve, there's more strain put on it, so it's going to fail quicker. I'm hoping that once I get the flange back on, that it will give it more support. Next part is Clean this out. And you can really feel when the silicone is completely covering the aluminum. It goes from being sticky, you can see my finger kind of sticking, to like it just slides right through. And that was one of the things I learned from watching another video, and I don't remember who posted it. I try and always give credit where credit is due. I did not come up with the silicone on the flange, but I watched like a million videos trying to figure out how the heck to do it. This part goes on the back part. Let's get it right, Robin. There we go. I'm a little concerned that it's not going to go on as happily as the one that came from the factory with the flange all set. And it's not. Come on, behave. Please behave. Of course, now my fingers are all slippery. And you can kind of see where you need to put it on because it's like that little bead is there. More lube. And this is why my legs are always a mess, because I use them as tools. Alright, that's definitely going to need some. And make sure these are greasy too, so they'll behave when you have to jam them in there. Like Archimedes said, with the right lever, I can move the planet. Alright, what I might do is just leave this like this for a bit and let the rubber compress, and then I'm going to do another one down here to push this one in, and I have to go play tennis, so I'm going to let this sit, go kick some ass, and then come back and finish the job. And I've not seen anybody else do this with the Lewmar hatches. This was born of frustration. Inspiration from frustration. This one is just more. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put this one closer up here. Everything is slippery. Don't want to put any tension on that. That's not a good voice. Go crunch. Stop before the crunch. That's under a lot of pressure. I'm gonna just leave that there and hope those little, it shouldn't have any, it should be flush with each other. So I'm just gonna leave that there. Alright, I'm back. Definitely looks like it's closer. Let's put those screws back in, because it is definitely starting to look like it might storm. Alright, do these first. Still got a bit of a gap here, but the holes are matching up, so I hope for the best. There it is, it's tightening in a little bit. Oh, that's okay. And now the not so fun part. Alright, I'm going to use some of my 3M VHB tape. Super expensive. I am a little concerned about that. It's not going to be a good seal, but hopefully it'll be a good seal. This little piece just pops right off like that. It's such a mess, I know. But it's about to become not a mess. And I got that hatch is all fixed. And look at how beautiful my bathroom looks. Except for that. This is today's project because I have these beautiful new cover that I put on this window, and I've got the crappy old lens that had the solar fan on it, and I really don't like those solar fans. They don't last very long. Oh, here's another thing I did. Let's see if you can see this. Ta-da! I changed out the light to something with a higher lumens that I can angle. So now I kind of have a nice angled spotlight. It was a total pain in the butt though, because the diameter for that to go into the ceiling versus this one was about 3 millimeters all the way around. So I had to get the Dremel and completely drill it out to get it to work right, which sucked. All right, I am going to turn the dehumidifier back on and go to work getting the gasket on this last one and that old one taken off. And I gotta get it done before it starts raining. Let's go fix the last one. And hopefully it will be as cooperative as the other ones. And I just washed the Reboot yesterday. It should be clean, but it's not. Where do we want to start? Now I can get to the screws. That's interesting. It's not like, don't fly away. Then you want to slide these in. And the ones on the back are pretty, I don't think the word seized is right, but they did not want to move. These are both going to get some corrosion XD once I get them out. Hey, Mike, do you get it there? Stop, back up. This one's fixed. It just has starling sticking out from under it. But you can see, new gasket, dog approved, and we have a storm coming, so we're gonna have to figure out what to do about this, because I can't have this open, but for now, squeezing the starling a little. There's number 2. Nice new gasket. Nice watertight. This in the bathroom. Last but not least. Whoa! Wait. And last but not least, number 3. And we got it done just in time. And now they're all watertight. It's going to storm. See you out there.